Oh, wow. Your warm, smiling faces are so great to see. So, thank you for making it here. Welcome to our session. We are going to be talking about balancing accessibility and security with AI. And before we get started, I want to thank the RSA team for the tremendous support you won't believe for this session. So, big thanks to that and to you for making the time this morning and coming. We are very excited about this session and would love to hear your thoughts. So please be ready to engage with us as we progress with the presentation. So we'll get started.
Yep.
So hi, I'm Abhilasha. I'm a partner security architect at Microsoft. I have the pleasure of working with passionate, dedicated defenders and our Copilot Office product teams. Working with the community is a big part of what I do, and I'm really looking forward to this discussion. For those who cannot see me, I'm almost 5 feet 3 inches, maybe 4. I have short black hair. I'm wearing a gray suit and a black top. Aditi?
Hi, everyone. I am Aditi Shah. I am Senior Data and Applied Scientist at Microsoft. For those of you who cannot see me, I am a short Indian girl with long black hair, and I'm wearing a black blazer and a purple shirt.
Thank you, Aditi. So, questions about the disclaimer? Just kidding. How many over here are part of any security operations or defender team? A very high percentage of the folks sitting here. So you know how minutes matter during an incident. You know, things happen Friday afternoon many times. And as we go on, every second matters too, you know, and we are looking at, okay, we have some indicator of compromise. We have, hopefully, a lot of logs. And we are trying to look at a needle in a needle stack sometimes, you know. How do you figure out how to continue to proceed and do the investigation? At that time, being able to quickly resolve and get to the right high fidelity alerts is very important. For that, we need data scientists like my colleague, amazing colleague Aditi here, on how we can go ahead and sift through those logs and work together. That interaction becomes a force multiplier. So you're not at it alone. None of us are at it alone. Aditi, would you like to talk about how that interaction could work?
Yeah, thanks, Abhilasha. You're just very kind. As Abhilasha said, my job is to craft those AI tools to help our defenders, to give them the edge over all the adversaries out there. Sounds pretty geeky, right? Well, isn't geeky the uniform of all of us cybersecurity pros? In fact, when we think about a cybersecurity professional, we get the classic picture, right? Like a hoodie-clad person hunched over a keyboard in a darkened room. But how many times do we imagine this person to be someone on a wheelchair or someone who's navigating the digital world without sight? We don't, right?
A lot of nods.
Well, here's the plot twist. I'm here to shatter all such stereotypes. Because yes, I am a cybersecurity professional, and yes, I'm blind. I'm sure a lot of you might not be able to believe it, so let me show you a glimpse into how I actually do things.
Hey Aditi, thanks for taking my call so late.
Yeah, Abhilasha, no problem. Tell me.
Yeah, we found out that there's an incident where some of our data could have been potentially exfiltrated by an adversary. I have collected a dump of the NetFlow logs for the last couple of weeks, and It seems that the compromise might have taken place in the last couple of days. So, this is urgent as you can guess, hence the late night call. Can you help us find some actionable insights, please?
No, that totally makes sense. I understand the urgency. Can you send me the dump of the logs and I will quickly do some analysis and get back with everything that I find.
Thanks a lot, Aditi. You're the best. I'll send it to you right away.
All right, so I got some data. I'm blind, so I cannot see the screen, but I use assistive technology, which is a screen reading software. It converts everything that comes on screen to either speech or braille. This is how it appears to me.
Time, duration, D1. SRC device, C1. DST device, D1.
Instead of eyeballing through all this data, I always resort to writing some code. So let me walk you through what I have done here.
Cell 1, code cell 2 of 6.
So I have a cell
Enter,
here.
content, editor.
I'm going to run it.
Control enter, cell 1, code cell 2 of 6. To move to an item, press the arrow keys. Notebook cell completed.
Let's walk through the output.
Left margin, number of unique source devices, colon 11187. Number of unique destination devices, colon 3518. Number of unique protocols, colon 3. Unique protocols in percentages. Table with 2 columns and 4 rows. Protocol.
So now here I have a table of protocols. I just want to look at which are the protocols.
Left margin, UDP, row 2. TCP, row 3. ICMP, row 4.
I know that 3 protocols are being used here. Similarly, I have tables for what are the most commonly used source ports, destination ports, and I also have some statistical measurements, different characteristics of all our numeric columns.
Table with 6 column header. Duration.
So let's look at it row by row this time.
Min, left margin, 0, row 2.
So we'll look at the minimum values for all the columns.
SRC bytes underline KPS 0, column 3, DST bytes underline KPS 0, column 4, SRC packets 0, column 5, DST packets 0, column end of row.
So as you can see, the screen reader really helps me navigate tables very easily. I will go to the next part.
Cell 3, markdown cell, 4 of 7, cell 4, code cell, 5 of enter, editor content, editor, blank, type in text.
I'll run the cell.
Control enter, cell 4, code cell, 5 of 7, to move to an item, press the arrow keys. Notebook cell completed.
So we'll go to the output.
Frame, notebook web view, content frame, time frame.
So I was told that the incident has taken place over the last couple of days. So what I did is used all of the data before that as the baseline to train a very simple anomaly detection machine learning based model. And let's see, what did I find?
Left margin, establishing the baseline, training the model, predicting anomalies, No of anomalous SRC devices equals 693.
So here it says that I found about 693 source devices which are potentially anomalous. This is still a lot of data for an analyst to go dig through and investigate. Let's go to the last cell.
N, cell 6, code cell, 7 of 7, editor content, editor.
To focus on anomalies related to exfiltration, we will filter and sort the data specific to new destination devices and maximum outbound traffic. Let me actually show you how the code looks like this time.
Bottom of group underline pairs equals left parent data underline check underline anomalous underline new underline DST dot copy left parent left bracket SRC device DST device right parent left bracket SRC packets right bracket dot sum left parent dot sort underline values left parent ascending equals false right parent dot reset underline index left parent left bracket lambda x colon x left bracket SRC packets right bracket greater 0 right parent.
Now let's run the cell.
Control enter, cell 6, code cell, 7 of 7. To move to an item, press the arrow.
There it's complete. Let me look at the output.
Table with 3 columns and 21 rows.
So it says 3 columns and 21 rows, which means I have found about 20 device pairs. 20 is a very manageable number for an analyst to go investigate, and I can send it back. Hey, Abhilasha.
Hey,
Hey, still up?
always.
All right. I just wanted to quickly circle back with the findings that I found from the logs that you shared. Let me quickly share my screen.
Okay. Yeah, this is great, Aditi. Thanks for getting back so quickly.
So
All right,
basically, I found some anomalous source and destination pairs.
Okay, great. So this is about 20 anomalous source and destination pairs, and we want our investigators to look at them immediately, right?
Yes. So what I have done to kind of help prioritize is I've only focused on the destination devices which were not present or were not used until like 2 days before. And I've also sorted the traffic in descending order of by the volume of outbound traffic.
Hey, yeah, this is perfect. I just wanted to know which port numbers were used for these traffic pairs. Do you have it?
Yeah, you know what? I did some analysis on the port numbers, and apart from HTTPS, everything else I found was not a well-known port. So I have included all of this in a report, which I'm going to send you right after this call. But it would be interesting to see what is actually going on there, what's running on those devices.
Okay, we'll get to the forensics team also. So let's get going. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, anytime.
So you get the picture, right? Like how someone with a disability and someone without a disability can work together. And trust me, we all have different abilities. I know a lot of you might be thinking that I am a one-woman show, but trust me, there is a whole army of talented people with disabilities out there. In fact, 1 in 7 Americans identify as having some kind of a physical disability. And when we take this number to a global scale, a whopping 1.3 billion people identify as having some kind of a disability. In fact, more of us experience disabilities as we grow older. So if you are embracing a workforce of diverse abilities, it's not actually just a nice thing to do, but it's also a great and what I would say smartest security strategy out there, you're including so many people, right? Disabilities appear in the form of mobility impairments, issues with hearing or sight, or different ways of learning and thinking. But the cool thing is that when we design with accessibility in mind, we're not just benefiting people with disabilities, we're helping everyone. Ramps, we have all seen ramps, right? They were designed for people on wheelchairs, but they help, say, parents with strollers or if someone's moving around with a lot of luggage. Audiobooks, designed for the blind, but help all of us. Whoever kind of wants to enjoy a nice book while exercising or while stuck in traffic. I'm pretty sure most of you must be doing that at this point. So, see, we're all in this together.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And looking at your smiles and eyebrows raised when you see the stats, and a lot of head nods, because we talk about fatigue a lot, especially in the RSA conference over years, right? And the ability for us to use these tools effectively. I can tell you after, as Aditi built awareness, I've started using audio a lot more than being tethered to the screen and reading those hundreds of documents. It's just going for nice long walks. It's a win-win. We get the work done and we are able to use these features effectively in our day-to-day. So let's switch gears a little bit. And it's time for some audience participation. It's more morning, and let's get ready, right? How many people have seen this kind of screen? I'll say 100%, right? Okay, and who can solve this really easily? Everybody? Piece of cake? Okay, if you close your eyes, try to solve it now. Anybody? That's the thing. You won't believe the high percentage of websites and services that have this as the only option, locking out people with visual impairments, with any other cognitive disabilities. And just assuming that this is going to cut it, one size fits all, doesn't work. So what is the answer? Anybody? What is an alternative?
Well,
Yeah, so I'm going to repeat what you said because of the microphone. And I love this engagement. So please keep coming. And at some point, when we do more, it will be great to have you near the microphone. But I understand as I'm asking you questions, I'll just repeat it for the sake of recording. But as you said, alternatives, right? Did I get it right? Like making sure first the website is accessible, and then you have alternatives that someone who is visually impaired can go to, right? So you're absolutely right. So one alternative that some of us might have seen is this one. Has anybody seen this before? Yeah. So this is our knight in shining armor. It's going to solve all the problems. Yes? I think you have the right intuition. Let's try it out, okay? Listen carefully.
X, A, 3, F, S, 9.
So how many of you can repeat it accurately and write it down in the text box? Not a single hand, right? And even those who are very good at the auditory memory, 40% of them don't get it. Well, that's not a shining example of success, is it? So we know that just having an alternative, you were absolutely right. We need an alternative, but those that actually work. And having options is key. So over many, many years, we have seen some great innovation. You know, we worked on fingerprint authentication, for example. How many people here use fingerprint authentication? Wow, it's like 90% of the room. This is great. And frankly, I remember back in 2014, I was here with some of our OEMs talking about the next generation fingerprint authentication. We are very proud of that work. But even that, what happens to those with no fingers, or having prosthetics? If that is the only option that we think has the best known path, then what about others who may have fingers with cuts or cold fingers? It just doesn't seem to be the only solution. We will see similar things where the assumptions that we make that this single solution, this one size is going to fit all of them, is not going to work. So also over the years, we've seen a ton of innovation at RSA where we talked about multi-factor authentication. And a little secret, I actually did use this slide in 2014. This is at RSA, and over the years, we talked about the simple things of who you are, what you have, what you know. It becomes a good part of you, and I'm really proud of we as a community have brought up so many options out there. One of the things that we may not have done enough is being able to do this more flexible fashion, right? Like it's either we have this perfect solution, and somebody told me last night, like I have nailed it for 2FA, this is it, and it's going to work for everyone. Like I think these assumptions are something that we need to test, and this is what this talk is about too, right? And I know AI is talked about a lot in the conference, but this is yet another place where we can start thinking through what does flexibility mean? How do you adapt to the environment? How do you adapt to the person and their needs so that authentication and security in general doesn't come in the way? So let's take a video of what that inclusive authentication could look like.
The purpose of the following demonstration is to provide conceptual understanding of techniques and methods to improve accessibility of security controls, and do not represent any existing or upcoming products or technologies from Microsoft.
Welcome. Please be aware that voice authentication can be vulnerable in public environments. Are you in a private and secure location where you can use your voice to authenticate?
Yes, I am in a private environment.
Can you please state your name for verification?
Hello, I am Aditi Shah.
Hello, Aditi. Please repeat this phrase. Today is a great day, and I am excited to start working.
Today is a great day, and I am excited to start working.
The system leverages speech recognition for user authentication. It analyzes unique vocal characteristics to verify identity and can be a viable alternative within your authentication suite.
Thank you. You do sound like Aditi. To further verify your identity, I will send a request to your phone via the Authenticator app. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I'm ready.
please enter the code displayed on the screen into your Authenticator app.
Okay, so now I have the code on the screen, so I'm going to use my screen reader on the laptop to read out the code, and then I'm going to type that on my phone character by character.
1,
1, 1,
5,
2, 5, 5,
3,
3, 3,
6,
6, 6,
4,
4, 4,
2.
2, 2.
Time-sensitive authentication methods can be challenging for users using assistive technology or for those with certain disabilities. Consider implementing user-customizable timeouts for improved accessibility.
You have successfully logged in.
There are so many aspects in that video
purpose of the-
for those who may have observed, like the TOTPs. And a lot of us in the crypto side will be thinking like, hey, you know, how many digits, how much time? A lot of the assumptions like, hey, 5 seconds is enough, come on, chop, chop, right? Or how do we go about looking at what are the ways where it shouldn't be a challenge like we were doing with the video and audio capture? How do you make it passive and continuous? Over years, we've seen, at least I have counted 140 vectors that could be used for different types of authentication, from what you have to how you walk and your proximity of devices, etc. And there is going to be a ton of real great opportunity when it comes to liveness analysis and the strength of authentication. So we can take multimodal to the next level, and we're not just talking about on connect. We can talk about continuous authentication and while connect, so that the systems are aware and the users can be very productive, and as a result, we can be inclusive to all those where it is challenging to, where we don't come in the way. We make it frictionless and seamless.
Exactly. Honestly, AI is now making all these sci-fi looking things very real. Thankfully, with all the innovations and the rate of the innovation that's happening in the AI space, we'll be able to not just do this effectively, but also do this at scale.
Yeah.
All right. So switching gears, now we looked at a lot of examples. You feel the pain. you get how it feels when different types of users use systems. So now let's talk a little bit about inclusion. And when we think about inclusion and think about bad actors, because hey, we are security people, I really feel they're way ahead of us. You know, they don't discriminate. They attack everyone. They're what I call equal opportunity disruptors. So when it comes to creating a truly secure future for us, it has to start with everyone included. And that is where accessibility actually comes in. Creating accessible cybersecurity training materials and designing accessible security tools is almost like handing off superpowers to everyone to fight these cyber threats. And that is only how we can create a digital fortress together. So, how do we design accessible security tools? It starts with a few steps, so I've just broken it down into a framework. So first off, we first begin with including the right people in at the right time. We saw that there are so many people with disabilities out there. So include them, make them a part of your user research. Get direct feedback and get it early on. Try to get accessibility experts onto your design teams. Train your engineers. In fact, not just engineers, everyone involved for learning the best accessibility practices. And as we think of bringing in the right people at the right time, let's also keep in mind the very important concept of equality and equity. On this slide, you see an image of some people who are trying to watch a game by standing on a set of crates. On the left side of the image, there is equality, which means everyone has the same number of crates to stand upon. Do you think that works for everyone? If you're nodding, I won't be able to see it. So.
This is no.
So, that doesn't work, right? Like, there are too many for someone who's tall, too few for someone who's short. On the right side of the image, there's equity. That's what we should strive for. Because everyone has the right number of crates that they need to enjoy the game. Similarly, when we design our security tools, we often try to find the most optimum solution that works for the majority users. But that is what leads to exclusion, because we leave behind those minority users who don't really see around, but they actually exist. So let us see how can we design accessible security tools that fit the needs of a diverse set of users. Some tips. First, ditch your assumptions. Do not ever assume that you know how every single user is going to use your systems. Give them options, like someone said, right? Give them options, whether it's touch, type, tap, or voice input. Let them pick what works best for them. When it comes to time-sensitive controls like OTPs, give them the flexibility to request and configure extended time limits if what you have predefined does not really work for them. And lastly, we're all anomaly detectors, but just because someone interacts with your system in different ways, let's not leave them behind. Security is for everyone. Now, I hope you're not overwhelmed with all these details. Accessibility is actually very straightforward. Let me talk about it with an example. I'm pretty sure most of you might have done this at some point. Say you are asking someone on your team to go investigate all the malicious alerts. And you say hey, go investigate everything that's marked red. But you watch this talk and you're being inclusive, so you catch yourself. You say one size does not fit all. What if that person is colorblind? All the red and green is going to mesh together. How do you fix it? A very simple accessibility tweak. Just add that information as another column in text. Now, everyone can access the same information in the format that works best for them. Easy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once you're aware, it's not that you can't do it or you don't want to do it. It's just being able to think about it. And I love the way Aditi said, now that you spent 5 minutes, at least thinking about it and saying, hey, yeah, how can I make it more inclusive? Even myself, as I write those documents and I insert an image, I take those 30 more seconds to add that alternative text, which is going to allow folks with disabilities to be able to actually read the whole document. It's actually a lot of fun too, so.
Exactly. So, some tips. It's not just your UI, right? Think about the content that you put on your UI. That has to be accessible too. Very simple. Follow the WCAG guidelines. Try not to use jargon, the one I just used. I'm still learning too. WCAG stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. But seriously, ditch that technical jargon. Not everyone understands. Security can be confusing and overwhelming, so let's use simple, clear language in our errors and warnings. And, like Abhilasha said, it's really simple. Take those 30 seconds. Don't assume that everyone looks at the screen just the way you do. So if you're adding images and icons, describe them with words. That is what we call alternate text. And like we saw in the previous slide, if you are representing any information using colors, try to present that using an alternate plain text as well. Shift left. I don't think I need to give a lecture on shift left to a room full of all of you security experts. But all I would say is just like security, accessibility is also important. Don't treat it like a compliance checkbox. It's not a speed bump on your road to release. I'm an engineer too. I get the pain. Deadlines is our goal, and we all live for those glorious launch days. But let's make sure that we remember accessibility is a win-win. Accessibility innovations help everyone. So make sure you bake accessibility right in from the beginning.
Yeah, and really, this one is close to heart, right? Like, it's not just about like the compliance and speed bump. It's actually, as an architect, I see it as a way of thinking in a different dimension. It adds to the innovation, like the art of possible, like our main theme. If you include it right in your design phase and you start thinking through it, we talk about security by design. If it's accessibility by design and it's not a patchwork, it will help us innovate and differentiate beyond what you may have originally thought. So it's an amazing opportunity to go do a lot more than what we may have intended when we started.
Exactly. So some tips. We're talking a lot about accessibility, but how would you know if you're not doing it right? So have a dedicated way for people to give you that accessibility feedback. Once you get the feedback, don't sit on it. Prioritize it, fix it. You know, I'm pretty sure everyone here would feel really bad if you know that, you know, some people are not able to use the awesome products and services that you're putting out there in the world, right? We want everyone to be able to use the awesomeness that we create. So keep that in mind as accessibility bugs come in. And lastly, build that accessibility muscle. Accessibility is not a one-time thing. You know, make sure that you think about accessibility with every patch, every update, and every release.
Yeah, not as an afterthought, but it allows you to do one of the things, like I love the feedback loop piece. So it's not like, hey, I asked everybody and I didn't hear anything back, but make sure you have some targeted audience, that it is inclusive and representative of the feedback that you're seeking. So there are a lot of gotchas, and if we really want to go do this, we can do this right. Innovation is key part of what we all enjoy. I think we are here to innovate and build the best products, solutions to help protect them. And we talked about ideas, whether it was audio or adding additional tags to make our security data, our tooling, accessible. That's one piece, is empower your cybersecurity team with disabled talent. It'll give a different perspective and help them be successful. So this is, as Aditi mentioned many times, there's an army out there. There's a large pool of very capable, talented people who can be trained and who can add a ton of value to what you're doing. And then there are a lot of points, but I think everybody over here, I just appreciate the engagement, like your attention here, because I think diversity is at the heart of anybody coming to this session, is how do you build diversity with folks with disabilities, because their diverse perspectives are just going to help build a lot more rich solutions than you might have intended.
Truly, you know, I mentor like so many students with disabilities, and they're so enthusiastic. Their enthusiasm is almost infectious.
Yeah.
So I really encourage all of you to think about accessibility, because that's going to open doors for all of them, and we'll have a much more vibrant industry.
I mean, we do want to give enough time for that engagement and would love to get your thoughts. As Aditi said, she can tap into a large pool. I can tell you that I love working with kids in cyber education, and we got kids with disabilities and with no disabilities together. They didn't even know who had what, but they were engaging and said, hey, let's gamify it. And then one of the kids said, hey, let's play a video game. It's like, no, I can't see. I'll show you an audio game. And it was such an amazing, energizing session, because everybody will learn to work with each other so effectively. So let's talk. Let's have a lot more how we can build that pool. So as part of our go-dos, there are things that we can do right now. I can't express that appreciation, Aditi. Like everybody's so engaged. Whether taking pictures on the pointers versus like just your presence is very valuable. If you can please take this message out and highlight to your company, to your peers, on the commitment to hire disabled workers. Not just hire them, frankly, but to foster an environment where they feel included, where they can be successful and make it possible for others to join in. The second piece, when we are putting our job recs, we should distinguish between must-haves versus nice-to-have. If you're excluding a bunch of people because of some quick copy-paste, you may have to be more intentional about the kind of requirements that you're putting in, and we help them have a fighting chance to go get that role. So please, if you can help in making sure that we put our job recs and craft those postings in an inclusive language so that we can not leave out a bunch of very capable human beings who can contribute to our mission. And finally, the education material. This one is very important. And I don't know how many people here are involved in building education material. Anybody? Are you mostly? There are a few. Actually, we would love to talk with you. Because as we are creating the material, make it inclusive as well so that we can build that talent pool. This is not a one-time thing. This is a journey. And this is our first step towards starting that engagement. Hope we can do this a lot more going forward. Everyone deserves a top-notch security. There's accessibility is our secret weapon. Like, you won't believe the kind of innovation we're building in. I just love when Aditi says, ditch your assumptions. There's ditch that one size fits all. I've learned a lot personally over the years on how I could function better. And I think the team, it's not just that one person that you're including, you're empowering your entire team. And it's together that we win.
Exactly. Again, once more, ask and don't assume. Come, talk to us, talk to other people. Get rid of your biases. Don't assume that someone can't do something just because you can't imagine how you would do it if you were in their shoes. We all find ways to problem solve,
Yes. Better than you can think sometimes. That's why we put those demos there, just to show you the experience, because be curious about how it could be done. So we have some time to be able to, I appreciate your feedback and your questions. So I hope we can do more of that. Thoughts, questions? Yes, please, if you can come use the microphone.
Hi. Oh, hello?
Yes.
It's not on. Is it on?
Is it on?
Hello?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, hi. My name's Mike. I'm a 6'1" white guy with slightly balding hair, wearing jeans and a vest or a waistcoat. It's been fantastic, really interesting, thank you. One of the things that I enjoy about security is the think evil to do good thing, where you're using your insights to work out how the bad actors are going to be doing bad stuff. And I was wondering if you're aware of any disabled researchers or groups who are kind of using their insights from understanding the assumptions about people who are not thinking about that, are building stuff to work out how to defend. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Insights from disability. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, what you said, and may I have your name, please?
Mike Bursell.
Thank you, Mike, for the question. So, do you want to go first, Aditi? Or
you can.
Okay. So I basically, when Aditi and I were working through some examples, that was the first thought that came to my mind too. It's like, hey, we are doing time-based one-time password, TOTP, and here, based on the person's need, you're increasing the few seconds. Like, as an adversary, how would I misuse that, And pretend to be someone who needs more time, and I'm just brute forcing a way to glory. That innovation and balance does require that work, right? Like, we won't lower the bar, but I think that's when we came up with the multimodal authentication method and how we can take it a whole level up, and it lands up being way better than any OTP you could have thought. So I think your point is spot on. We need to do adversarial thinking as we are building these accessibility things. It's no easy pass for anyone, but we can make it frictionless.
Yeah, I'll add that, that's why just having one thing does not really solve the problem, both from a security standpoint and the usability standpoint. So like Abhilasha said, we have like those AI-based continuous authentication systems so that, someone has to really, almost like, it's not a deep fake with just your voice and your face, but they have to actually fake a lot of your physical attributes. So
they have to walk like you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's really helpful. I was also thinking about times when we're not making changes, just the assumptions that we make when we design systems generally that you might have different insights into because of your disability.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, because I listen to things, and some people think that they can hide the text by making it white on white, and I still get to access it. So I'm almost an adversary there.
That's a great example, right? Thank you for the question. That's great. Yes, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is Adam. I am also a 6'1" white guy with tattoos, bleached hair, and a bright blue shirt. My question is, within our IT organization, usually customer-facing trainings are either videos with audio or what I call picture book handouts of text with screenshots. How can those be augmented to be more accessible?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So for any printed material, it's good to have kind of alternate material in digital form as well. And you know, it's really about not assuming, right? So ask the audience, right? Like ask your target audience. If it's a really wide audience, then it's just common sense to check all the boxes. So have it available in accessible digital formats. You know, I talked about the WCAG guidelines, which tell you like what fonts are good, what color contrast is good. So you can kind of refer to some of that. When it comes to videos, you have to have captions for the spoken content. For people who cannot see the videos, there's something called audio description, which is actually very interesting. So if you're using any of the video streaming platforms, it's an option available on a lot of the movies and shows, so just go try it out. So it's basically like someone describing what's happening on the screen in between dialogues. So you can have audio description for the videos as well, and that's how you can make huge strides with simple things.
Yeah. And you may be serving an audience much bigger than you think. Like I actually, after 12 hours of screen time, I want to take a break and just close eyes or just go for a walk. So there'll be a lot of people who'll be using, you know, and having those descriptions, as Aditi mentioned, are extremely valuable. It's hard for me when I'm going through non-accessible content because it's like, you know, you have a bunch of text and then there's blank and then there's a bunch of text. So the ability to have that. I just want to note, it's heartwarming to see how you are embracing what we've talked about in this as you're describing yourself and bringing this in. So thank you. I'm extremely hopeful how we can take this as an exponential improvement in where we are today. Yes, please.
I'm not good at the mic, but I wanted to thank you for this because we're creating training videos right now, and I'm the CEO of a cybersecurity company. Excuse me, could you say the mic, please? Let's check. He says he doesn't like mics.
I was going to just repeat what you were going to say.
So, speaking of disabilities, I'm one of those wallflower kinds of people. So, it's very difficult for me to get up to the mic. But I'm going to do it because you guys teased me, okay? So, all right, but anyway, I'm the CEO of a cybersecurity company, and we're creating training videos right now for our people, but also for our clients. And this presentation has really got my mind spinning about how we would modify those training videos to take this into consideration. And I'm thinking of all the different things that you spoke about, even right now, not just including video, but the descriptive text that you're talking about right there. And I'm trying to figure out, well, gosh, how would we do Braille, you know? But just the fact that you've got my mind spinning, I appreciate that very much.
Thank you so much. And I love when you say it got my mind spinning. So. And thank you for getting there. I wish I had a microphone built into my somewhere over here because I'm not very loud when I used to speak, and I get, you know, like how, thank you for taking that extra effort. I would love for Aditi to speak to it, but I have to say one thing. Once Aditi mentioned, you know, I can throw away the Braille. Like she said, like, there are so many great accessibility options in our computing and our devices today. So Aditi, if you want to speak to it.
Yeah, no, you know, again, it's about not assuming, right? Like not everyone knows how to read Braille. I know everyone thinks that if you're blind, you know how to read Braille. I don't read Braille. I was born a geek, you know, so I started using technology right away. So, you know, just have alternatives, and that's where, you know, really talking to the real users. Having that focus group of people with disabilities, trust me, a lot of people would just want to help, you know. We've understood the pain of going through an inaccessible world. We want to do everything we can to make it accessible. So reach out to the community, and I'm pretty sure everyone will help out on how to make content the most accessible. But yes, just follow the guidelines and things should be good.
And the training material is key. So I would love to follow up with you also. Like we do this, as Aditi said, she mentors a lot of kids, and I love working with kids in cyber education. So they all got together. And then one of the things was finding tools. Like we were basically doing everything you can think of in terms of ethical hacking. And those tools we were looking at, like whether it was Hashcat equivalent or, you know, password crackers, or looking at even network analysis tools. All these tools, if we start making sure they're accessible, then it will make those education sessions a lot easier. It was a real research to like get these tools together so that it's seamless, it's fun, and everybody is included. It's not like for this section, we don't have anything for you, you know, versus making sure that when we are building tools, you know, it's not just the images and the text, it's our security tooling as we build this talent pipeline.
Hi, Brad 5'4", which is why I had to move the mic. Caucasian, standard business casual blue.
Khaki pants.
Couple of comments and a question. I think the question is for the audience. How many of you use closed captioning for Netflix and such?
All of us. 100%
That's
all of us.
probably about half the room, right? So that, I mean, there were very specific purposes for closed captioning in the first place, but it helps more people. I mean, I use it just so I don't wake the kids up at night, right? I want to know what's going on the screen. The unemployment rate for people with disabilities is about twice the unemployment rate for the unemployment total, right? So I think it's very important to understand that when you are building software, by not being inclusive or by not making it accessible, you're actually contributing to making that more difficult for people to get back into the workplace, right? And 1 in 7 Americans, I mean, that's a lot of people. So, you know, keep that in mind. There are places that you can go that do accessibility testing. There are a number of organizations that do that. And I encourage you to look for that and see that and test with that. I know that's hard when you're making a new product because you don't want to include others. Sometimes you don't want that feature to get out, right? So you have to find a trusted organization that you partner with over the long term. So not a big question. Just I work with a company that focuses on disability, and I wanted to just kind of make a few comments. So thank you so
Very
much. This is a great
appreciative of that.
presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love those comments.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah. Short Latina female, green pants, white shirt, wearing glasses. I have a question about whether you have awareness of any working groups that are specifically looking into the security or like multi-factor authentication solutions for accessibility. And I'll preface this by saying I'm the head of accessibility at my company. And oddly, I sit under the Chief Product Security Officer, so this is something we are actually thinking about a lot. But one resource I haven't been able to find is if there are people who are looking into the best practices to meet WCAG guidelines, or more importantly, to meet universal design guidelines for MFA. That I haven't found that anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's something that people don't really think about. I know there are some universities who are doing academic research around security and accessibility, but I don't know of anything that's specific to MFA.
Yeah, and I've worked on MFA for like 2 decades now, you know, and I'm thinking, like, what a great idea. So we should talk and make sure that these guidelines are there. I know we have a minute and folks are slipping out, but
I'll just tell you one thing. So I am starting a working group around this for privacy with a big vendor, and I can talk to you about this. So
Love to connect.
if you don't have awareness of it, I'd probably love to start a working group for that area as
Yes,
well.
we
So
should.
let's
yeah,
do it.
I'll
Let's
come
do
talk
it.
to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you. You know.
Thank you.